ones. Today is going to be another different type of video. So obviously, as you can tell by the title, today is just going to be like my photography journey through the years so far. A lot of you guys ask about this. If you don't already know, my full-time job, or my career if you will, is a wedding photographer. That's what I've done since I've, like, I don't know, for as long as I can remember, really. And I'm just going to discuss my journey through photography with you guys, because a lot of you guys ask and want to see pictures and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm extremely nervous to do this because, yes, I am a professional wedding photographer, I guess you could say that. I just do this for myself. I'm not like within a company or stuff like that. Like, I'm how do I explain this? Like, I own my own business kind of thing. And I'm not like amazing. I'm sure you can look up wedding photography and you can be blown away by the amount of professional ones that are out there. And they are way better than me. The way I see it is, photography is much like anything. You have to learn a lot. It takes a while to get where you are. You can even, like, what I'm going to show you today, you can see where I began and you can see where I started, and it was not that great, and where I am today, where I think it's pretty good, but maybe 5 years from now, I'm going to look back at my work now and be like, wow, that was terrible. You know, it's growing. So I don't think I'm amazing by any means. Believe you me, I work at it constantly. It is a hard, insanely hard field. So my journey with photography really began when I guess I was like 16 or so. I was in youth group, and I was always the girl that always took pictures of everything, of just like candid stuff. This really doesn't have anything to do with my wedding photography, but I think that's where my love of photography started, because I just love taking pictures of events and hang out with my friends and stuff. And my mom gave me my first camera. I think it was a Christmas or something like that, and it was a really crappy Olympus one. And I mean, it served me well. It wasn't like professional by any means, and that served me for a couple years until I graduated high school. I got my first like, I'd say beginner DSLR, and it was a Nikon D40, I think. It's been so long. I got that when I was 17, and my husband gave that to me, or my boyfriend at the time, Matt, gave that to me. That's what I primarily shot with for, I'd say, I don't know how many years. I wish I would catalog that. I really do. Like maybe 3 years. And yeah, I think I shot my first wedding on it. I'm not too sure about that though. I don't even have pictures of my first wedding because it was in my senior year of high school. And as random as that sounds, the only reason I shot my first wedding as a senior in high school is because I had a friend in high school, and his sister was getting married, and she saw that I was putting photos up on MySpace. And she's like, do you want to take some photos? And I did, and they weren't probably nothing spectacular at all. But that's where my love of weddings, of wedding photography, have come from. Now, if you're a photographer, I'd say the number one thing, if you want to be a photographer, I'd say the number one thing you need to do is figure out what field of photography you want to be in, because there are so many. You could be a food photographer, because yes, there's a market for that. You could be a kid photographer, a newborn photographer, a dog photographer, a event photographer, a just like stock photos of like products and stuff. You could be like an artsy photographer where they do like, you know, all that stuff, a model photographer. There's so many fields, and that's like the number one thing I think you should do if you're interested in becoming a photographer, is figure out what field is best for you. And I found that field for me is wedding photography, and that may be the most toughest. I don't know, but I haven't worked with any other field really, but wedding photography is definitely very stressful. I'll get into it. So I did my first wedding, and after that I was like, I'm hooked. I love weddings, mainly because I love love. I'm a romantic junkie. I can't get enough of it. I'm that girl that watches those romantic movies, and I'm like, oh, and I just love love. And I think you really have to love love to be a wedding photographer, or a couple photographer even. And so after that, I think I did my other wedding, and I'll show you. These are some of my first weddings, so you're gonna have to forgive me. I don't even remember what year this was. I want to say it was maybe 2007 or 2008, and yeah, I shot this one on a boat. As you can see, the wedding took place on a boat, and these are the groom was a friend from church, and you know, looking at this photo so many years ago, I was like, this is amazing. Looking at it now, I'm like, oh boy, it's a little bit too contrasty, a little bit too sharp. I did not love it, but you know what? It's good to look back where you started at and see and watch how much you've grown, quintessentially. And the next one I think is from the same year, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, this photo is way too dark, like it should be brighter, but it was just, ugh. Now don't get me wrong, I've never had a client unsatisfied with my work. I think, you know, it happens. Like, I'm sure if I shot a wedding now and if I gave my client an image like this, they'd be like, what the crap? Because I've grown a lot, I've gotten a lot better. Back then, that's as good as I was. I was a very, very, very beginner. After that, all that kind of stuff, I think for a couple years I shot with that Nikon. Then I forget when exactly I got my new camera. I want to say it was for my birthday. My husband got me a Canon 60D. I think that's what it is. I still have that, or is it 50D? Oh crap, I'll insert a picture of it. And I still have that, use that as my backup camera. It was my first like professional camera. And that's when I really started to like really learn about photography. I immersed myself in. I took like, I want to say like 3 or 4 college courses in it. At a local community college. It wasn't like anything super fancy, but I learned about aperture, I learned about shutter speed, I learned about, you know, how to do light boxes, I learned about how to Photoshop correctly, I learned how to, you know, learn all that basic necessities of camera, which is so hard. I suggest you go to a class, because if I had not learned about aperture, shutter speed, I don't know where I would be at, or, you know, ISO, or all that stuff. It's just, there's so much to learn, it's insane, and I don't even think I've even, like, if there was a 100% scale of learning, I may be at like 60%. There, maybe 50, honestly. There's still so much I need to learn, and I just need to you just need to immerse yourself in it. Like, learn as much as you can. So once I got that Canon, like I said, I immersed myself into school and weddings and other, anything I could get, really, and I started buying lenses, and I've always worked with a kit lens, which if you don't know, when you buy a camera, you can usually buy it with the lens already on it, which is a kit lens, which isn't like a lens that's not, I wouldn't say it's like professional. I started learning that I love fixed lenses, which a lot of you guys always ask what I shoot with. I shoot with right now a Canon 5D Mark II with a 50mm 1.4 lens, and that is my baby. Like, if I could pick a lens and carry it around with me like a child, it would be my 50mm. I would just cradle it all day because I love it so much. And then I really realized I was getting better with photography, and the first like really good wedding I think I shot was actually within my own family, and it was my cousin's wedding. And here she is. She is the most beautiful girl I've ever seen in my life. Well, of course I'm biased because she's my family. And I love this wedding. It was because it was a Marine wedding, and I love this image. This by far is one of my favorite images of all time, with the, I forget what it's called. Usually at Marine weddings they do this. They cross the swords, or I don't know what it's called, but I love that image, and I just love these images. Looking back at them, I'm like, I could have shot that a lot better, but I still love them. I think they're really pretty images. And with that, I shot some other amazing weddings, like this one. This is a bride named Alicia, and she's beautiful, and her husband, oh, it was such a pretty wedding. And by far, this is one of my favorite images, with their foreheads touching. I love it. I'm a sucker. That's how I am when I shoot too. Like, when I see something, I'm like, oh my gosh, I love it. Click, 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 click. And yeah, so I think that's all the photos I have from my Canon 60 or 50D way. And then finally, when I got my Canon 60D, I immediately started saving up for the Mark, because the Mark is like the Mac Daddy of Canon cameras, in my opinion. Like, these cameras are freaking expensive, and it took me a while. Like, every time I did a wedding, that money would go into my savings for a Mark II, because that's just what I wanted to do. So during all this time, yes, I said I'm a full-time wedding photographer. I also had a part-time job. I worked like 20, 25 hours a week, you know, just to pay the bills at my own house and help out with, you know, the income. So I did that too, but so that helps sustain my, like, you know, life needs, if that makes sense. So I saved up, and I finally got the Mark II, and I got lots of lenses. If you want to know the current lens I have right now, I have the 50mm 1.4, which I'm saving for 50mm 1.2, which, holy crap, is expensive. I have the 85mm 1.8. I have a 20mm, I forget the things on that, and I also have a 100mm, I forget the point on that. But those are the lenses I primarily work with. Do I have another one? I think that's it. But primarily it was my 50 and my 85. Those are my babies. Anyway, so I'm going to show you some weddings I've done with the Mark II. This is one of the first ones I've done. Before I get into about this image, I want to say I've shot maybe 35 weddings, I want to say, and that's by the time I've been 19 to 20. I'm 25 now, so within 6 years, which is okay. Some years I've only shot like 4. Last year I shot like 14. This year I'm not shooting any because of personal things, because I'm pregnant and I can't do it because I'm high risk. Anyway, but I would love to. But yeah, so this one is a friend and I love this image. It's one of my favorite images. And this one too, the shoes. I'm a sucker for anything details. I love shooting details. Like, oh, I love it. I love it. Here's another one, just a couple, and again, they are friends, and I love this shot of the rings up close. I love how you're focused on the rings, but the rest is blurry, you know, focal points, some details. Now, all these shots I've shot with my 100mm, and I love shooting with that, and I love details. So, I'm sorry if this video is going to be totally rambly and stuff, but I don't have like a really set of what I'm going to talk about. So I'm going to take you through a typical wedding day for me. Let's say the wedding starts at 2. Let's just say that. So brides take a lot of time to get ready, as they should, because it's their big day. They got a lot of hair to do, they got a lot of makeup, they got to just prepare, you know, get ready to be married, and that's the thing. So usually I like to arrive when the bride's pretty much done with their hair and getting on makeup, because as a woman, I wouldn't want somebody to come in and take pictures of me while I'm looking like no makeup on, hair's getting done and stuff like that. I want to look somewhat decent. So I come in between that and I take pictures of just, you know, of them getting their makeup on. That's when I gather everything. I gather her earrings, her shoes, her dress, any accessories, her bouquet, anything at all. And I try to cater that to what her theme is, because a lot of brides have themes to their wedding. This one in particular is a very good friend of mine. I talk to her daily, and she loves shoes, and she had like a peacock themed wedding. So I thought, what other better place to take pictures of her earrings than on a peacock feather, because that symbolizes her day. And a lot of times, sometimes brides don't have themes, you know, just find a beautiful place and take pictures of what you can work with. If I can, I try to really cater to what that bride likes. Like this one right here. This is my favorite shoe shot I have ever shot in my life. And the reason for that is because this sums up the bride perfectly. The bride loves shoes. I saw this and I get a lot of ideas on Pinterest, you know? That's what Pinterest is for, is amazing ideas. And I saw this and I was like, this is her. Like this embodies this girl perfectly. And I thought this would be a great shot. You know, it's got you can see the peacock on her shoes, and then she's got that ring right in the middle of her shoes, and I just freaking love it. But it's one of my favorite dress shots because the light just hit and it was beautiful. And what's another favorite one of my dress shots? This one, because they got married in like this kind of vintagey type of antique-ish inn, and it just really represents the whole day perfectly. And she's got her shoes and the dress, and oh my gosh, I mean, there's so many detail shots, as you can see, like clocks and rings. I love rings. I love anytime I can get a beautiful ring shot. I definitely try my heart out. And then shoes, like I am a sucker for detail shots. And bouquets, like, oh, I love it. Okay? So here's the bride right here that I was talking about, the peacock one, the peacock themed wedding one. She's beautiful. I love this picture. It's an amazing picture. And I love this picture, and it may seem like boring to you just looking at it. Oh, black and white, I have a bride and groom looking at each other. This was my first look I have ever shot. And if you're wondering what a first look is, I don't know if it's coined by photographers, but it's when a bride and groom decide to see each other before their wedding. And they just do it usually for strictly pictures only, and you know, just a lot of stuff. Honestly, if I were to go back, I would definitely have done this, because I think it would have released a lot of nerves. And that's a big thing about first looks, you know. It releases a lot of nerves. Just seeing your bride, seeing your groom beforehand and being like, you know. And I think it's just different, you know, because yes, this is kind of odd. A lot of people don't like it, which if you don't like it, totally fine. You can be traditional, totally fine, whatever you want to do. But I love first looks because number one, it alleviates a lot of the timeline for me for the day. And number two, it's just, I get the most candid, beautiful pictures from this. And this is totally candid, and I love candid pictures. you can see she's totally happy to be rocking this first look. She is beautiful, and these by far, this is one of my favorite weddings I've ever done. But they are just some beautiful images, and not all my clients do first looks. I always ask, they say no. I'm totally like, cool with me. Anyway, here's just some random photos I've done, just la la la. Like this one a lot because it started to rain and we just used umbrellas, and I thought it was a super cute shot in front of a cotton field with umbrellas. I love it, and it's just cute, and you could probably see the raindrops on it. I don't know. I just love this. It's in front of a cotton field. And this image too, I'm a sucker for black and whites, as you can see. I'm just showing you some general images of weddings that I've done. I'm not gonna go too fast into them, but yeah, all these, like, my biggest thing is I want my clients to be my friends. You know, I want them to walk away and I want to be able to talk to them 5 years from now and be like, hey, what are you doing? And all that kind of stuff. And I'm very blessed to have that. Even now, coming up with my future child, I'm gonna have a baby shower soon, you know, and I'm gonna invite a lot of my past clients because I consider them friends, and that's what I want because they are my friends, you know. I just love that. And this one, they're in front of a boat, and this one, a silhouette. Love it. I can't get enough of it. I love this couple. And this one, the first time I tried it, where they spelled love. Love it. And just some random details, you know, just this video is just to show you my work pretty much and how it's progressed over the years. This is primarily, a lot of these are from last year. Oh, I love this shot because they actually got a old vintage car and they posed in front of it, and it was made out for some of the best beautiful pictures ever. Oh, it was just beautiful. Like, this wedding, I think, has been my favorite strictly for the location because they got married at their family's house, and they live like kind of out in the country. Like, their house literally sits like on a lake or something, and they got married right in the front yard, and it was huge, and the whole house was antique vintage, which is me to a T. And they had their table set up family style, as you can see, and it was all kind of rustic and just beautiful. And they had that vintage car, and then they had their cake on like this piece of wood cutout, and they even cut the cake with like a old military sword. And oh, I loved it. So that's all my work pretty much. But yeah, I'd say timeline, like I was talking about. So let's say wedding starts at 2. I get there usually maybe, let's say, around 9, and I'm taking pictures of details and stuff for like the first hour and a half. Bride's probably gonna be done around, let's say 12:30, because it takes a while because you gotta think of bridesmaids and stuff. So then, you know, let's say they are opting not for a first look, but whenever that happens, I try to take pictures of the bridesmaids alone and then the groomsmen alone, so I can just knock that out of the park, and any family shots I can get out of the way. So I do that at that location, or we travel to the location or something like that, wherever, I don't know, it depends on the logistics of the wedding. So I do that, and that's gonna take me right up to probably about 1:30 of just that. By the way, I do have a second shooter, that's with the guys usually. And then the wedding, let's say, is from 2 to like 2:30, and then from like 2:30 to like probably like 3:30, 4 more than likely, I'm taking pictures of the family and of the whole bridal party, and then the bride and groom. So just think, that's the majority of my pictures that people want, is like the family, the bridal party, and the bride and groom. And I gotta rush that within like an hour and a half. And it is stressful, beyond stressful, beyond stressful. But I thrive on pressure, coincidentally. I don't know how, but I do. So I'm good at it. I remain calm. And then, you know, from 4 to like 8 or 9 is the reception, and by that time, I am exhausted. Like, I tell everyone, because a lot of people joke on me, like my friends and stuff, like, oh, photography, that's so easy, click, click, click. I'm like, no. A day after the wedding, I feel like I got hit by a freaking 18-wheel truck. Like, I'm like, ugh. And then there comes the editing, and the editing takes me 3 days because there's a day where I just do 8 hours of nonstop editing, and then I gotta upload it to my site, then I gotta upload it to my blog, then I gotta upload it to a disc to send them, then I gotta make an album for them, then I gotta send it out. It's just, there's so much. So photography is very stressful, especially wedding photography, because that is one of the most important days of a person's life. You know, they say like you have 2 important days: the day you get married, the day you have kids, you know. And the wedding, that's a big deal. It's not like it's like a photo shoot where you're like, oh, I can reshoot that. No, if you miss that first kiss, you missed that first kiss. You don't want that, which I've never done, by the way. But it's just insanely stressful, but I really honestly love what I do. I just love seeing couples in love, and I love watching them decide to take that step to be, you know, as one pretty much. And that is what I do for a living pretty much. And like I said, I am not shooting any weddings this year because I am pregnant and I am high risk. So that means that I had to quit my part-time job due to this. So like they don't want me to stress or do anything like really strenuous. And wedding photography, there have been days where I've shot 12 hours straight. Like I've been at a wedding for 12 hours straight, and I like sometimes I don't like, I think about it now and I'm like, I don't know how I did that. But you know, doing that right now would definitely not be the best thing for me, but I'm eagerly looking forward to the time when I could shoot weddings again, which will definitely be in 2015. Ooh, that's crazy to say, isn't it? Woo. I hope to, you know, come back strong and stuff. And behind the scenes shoots of me. Now you'll see these, and my hair's usually up because it's hot and I'm stressed and blah, blah, blah. These are just some behind the scenes shots of me shooting weddings or something that my other photographer have got. Don't judge me, but yeah. Anyway, so this whole video I hope was decent and that it just showed you my journey and thus far. My journey's not even close to being done, you know. I love what I do. I love wedding photography, and I also love YouTube. So I'm hoping, you know, to maybe, you know, live throughout my days doing that, being a wedding photographer, and also talk about books and reviewing books. That's just my thing. I found what I want to do, and not a lot of people can say that. They're in a career that they love, and I am in a career that I love, and I'm very blessed to be able to do that. I'm very blessed that my husband has a great job and that, you know, I'm able to be my own boss, quintessentially, and I do love it. And yeah, I think that's it. If you have any questions about wedding photography, feel free to comment and I'll try to answer as best I can. Like I said, I'm nowhere near super professional at all. This is just what I know and what I've done, and yeah, I hope you learned something. I hope you took away something. I don't know, you know, that kind of stuff. Does that make sense? I don't know. I think I've been talking for way too long. I'm sorry this video is too long. La la. Thanks for watching. If you want more future videos about photography, because I'm sure I did not put anywhere close enough information in this, please let me know. And that is all for me. I will see you guys next time. Bye.